Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election held in Nigeria on February 25, 2023, and the result controversially announced on March 1st, 2023. And as a result of the controversy over that result, it was challenged at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, from where it has now moved to the Supreme Court. Now, one of the contention or one of the reasons why the Presidential Election Petition Court threw away the petition of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party Peter Obi was that he failed to prove that he won the election, because one of his prayers was that he won the election and that he should be declared the winner of the election, and that the person who purportedly won the election, that's why Bola Ahmed Tinubu, did not win the election. But the court, in its wisdom, claimed that Peter Obi did not win and he did not show proof how he won the election. And of course, there are so many Nigerians who have been questioning, why should somebody who came third claim that he won the election? I, for one, am among those who believe that Peter Obi won. And I have done several videos to prove how Peter Obi will move from number 3 position that INEC put him to number 1 position, which I believe he deserved based on his campaign, based on the vote, based on the support that he enjoyed across the country. I've done tons of videos. You can look at my catalog of videos and you will see videos that I have done, how Peter Obi will move from number 3rd position to number 1. And he will move in this position cleanly. It's not like the way Ozodinma, the governor of Imo State, moved from number 4 to number 1. And many people till today are still struggling to understand how Ozodinma moved from number 4 position in the election for governor in Imo State to number 1. But in the case of Peter Obi, I have shown clarity on how he will move from number 3 to number 1 position. And one of the areas that Peter Obi will move to that stage was deliberately sabotaged by the courts, because I believe that if the court were sincere, they would not have done away with some of the evidence that Peter Obi brought through his witnesses. It was when they cancelled 10 out of Peter Obi's 13 witnesses, that was when it was obvious where they were going. They didn't want to entertain anything that would show proof that Peter Obi won. And unfortunately, they are the same people that claim that Peter Obi couldn't show how he won. But I'm happy that Peter Obi had taken time in his appeal at the Supreme Court to show how he won the election with figures on how he won. That is what we are going to talk about in this video. What Peter Obi told the Supreme Court, how he won the election, and why he should be declared the winner of the election and not Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the candidate of the All Progressive Congress and the sitting president of the country right now, until the Supreme Court says otherwise. Now, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, in the petition that he submitted to the presidential to the Supreme Court, showing his disagreement with the verdict of the Presidential Election Petition Court, has declared that the Presidential Election Court that was led by Justice Haruna Samani erred in law when it dismissed his evidence that he showed, because he believed that they dismissed the evidence that he showed, that he showed to them that he won the February 25 presidential election held in Nigeria. And according to Peter Obi, he won the election by 8.7 million votes. Okay? So Peter Obi is telling the Supreme Court, look, the Haruna Samani led panel erred in law when they dismiss his claim that he won the 2023 presidential election with about 8.7 million votes. Of course, you and I know that from the record by the Independent National Electoral Commission, which they declared on March 1st, as I said in the introduction, controversially, they show that Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, scored 8,794,726 votes, with which he was declared the winner by the Independent National Electoral Commission, while Atiku Abubakar of the PDP and Peter Obi of the Labour Party, according to the INEC record, that record is still controversial because as I talk to you right now, INEC has refused to upload all the results of the presidential election to their archive several months after the election. So according to the INEC declared results, Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party came second with 6,984,520 votes, while Peter Obi came third with 6,101,533 votes, respectively. Now, Obi has given the figure to show that he won, because they were saying that he couldn't show figures, he shouldn't show how he won the election in their dismissal of his petition. Now, Obi, as you and I know, he petitioned the Presidential Election Petition Court for redress while presenting over 10 witnesses. In fact, he presented about 13 witnesses. He presented 13 witnesses. The Presidential Election Petition Court, in a controversial circumstance, dismissed and cancelled 10 of these witnesses that were so vital to their prayers and made mess of their prayers, because when they cancelled those witnesses, they rendered his claims impotent. So that is why the Supreme Court, Peter Obi is telling the Supreme Court to look at the way that that court dismissed his witnesses. Now, and Peter Obi is saying that he brought witnesses to show how he won, and they dismissed it. Now, among the witnesses that he brought, he is now telling the Supreme Court he is a professor of mathematics at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, Anambra State. That's Professor Eric Owadiego of Edu, who submitted his expert report on the election. Now, the professor had told the panel that 18,088 polling units, 18,088 polling unit results uploaded by the Independent National Electoral Commission staff to the INEC result viewing portal, that's IRIV, were blurred. You know, if you had followed my this channel, you know that I have continuously made reference to this figure to show that Tinubu could not have won the election if this figure is taken into consideration. This 18,088 polling unit result that were blurred. Because if you subtract this blood result from Tinubu's result, there is no way he could have majority of the votes cast in the election to be declared the winner of the election. But INEC ignored this fact and announced him as the winner of the election. So Peter Obi in his petition to the presidential election, to the Supreme Court now, his appeal to the Supreme Court is drawing attention to this fact that the professor had told the panel that 18,088 polling unit results uploaded by INEC staff to the INEC result viewing portal were blurred and allegedly shortchanged Obi's scores by additional 2,565,269 accredited votes, aside the issues of overvoting. You know, this professor of mathematics was able to show that blood result sheets 18,088 contain about 2.5 million votes, which was allocated to Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu with that blood result that nobody can read what was inside. And if you subtract that 2.5 million votes from this blood result, from Tinubu's 8.7 million votes, his number will drop down to 6.2 million votes. Tinubu will no longer have majority of the vote cast in the election. But that is not what this Presidential Election Petition Court wants. So they deliberately sideline that aspect of Peter Obi's petition because they don't want to bring any question to the figure that INEC used in declaring Tinubu as the winner of the election. Now, Peter Obi is still continuing to talk about the importance of this discovery because this 18,088 blood result was not generated by Peter Obi on his own or the professor. The professor downloaded it from the uploaded results of the Independent National Electoral Commission by the staff of INEC. He meticulously picked those blood results, 18,088, but they dismiss it. That you cannot generate, that you can't collect results from the IRIV to show your claim. Whereas I have shown you video of the former president of the Senate, Ahmad Lawal, who superintended over uh, the legislation for the Electoral Act 2022, who said it that result in the IRIV is the parameter that is used to assess any dispute in the election. Because the Electoral Act was saying that if there is a dispute between the results carried by any of the political parties, the benchmark will be to compare it with what is in the IRIV. What is in the IRIV is like the final arbiter. Whatever is in the IRIV is authentic. Whatever anybody is carrying. Because you know that in the election, at the polling unit, the result is shared among political parties and stakeholders. Now, if there is a dispute over the figure that was carried by these different political parties, you go and compare it with what is in the IRIV. Now, the Presidential Election Petition Court is claiming that that is not a collection center. It is not a collection medium. So you cannot use it now to portray or to show your own argument, which is a very strange something that Peter Obi wants the Supreme Court to look into this matter. Now, according to the professor who did this tabulation, overvoting checks on the 2023 presidential election show that 4,457 polling units with a total of 2,317,129 PVCs collected were affected, adding that the figure exceeds the margin of lead of 1,807,206 votes over the first first runner declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, that is Atiku Abubakar. Now, this professor continuing, and Peter Obi in his presentation to the Supreme Court said that from the IRIF portal, that's INEC IRIF portal, 18,088 polling unit results were blurred. This number of polling units negatively impacted the votes of 2,565,269 accredited voters and 9,165,191 voters that collected their PVCs. That is what the professor has taken his time to calculate, and he presented this matter to the Presidential Election Petition Court that dismissed his witness, just cancelled him out for no genuine reason. Now, Peter Obi is saying the Supreme Court should look at the evidence that this professor gathered as a star witness to show how he himself won the election. And it is no different from my own analysis on how Peter Obi will move from number 3 to number 2, from number 3 to number 1 position. Because at the end of the day, what Peter Obi is claiming is that his votes were taken away from him and allegedly illegally allocated to Tinubu, with which he used to emerge the winner of the election. And then Peter Obi is also claiming that the results that they use in declaring Tinubu the winner there is 18,088 blurred results, which nobody can read what was there, but INEC was able to generate figures from it to allocate to Tinubu. And this professor had calculated that it's about 2.5 million votes that was generated from that 18,088 blurred results. So despite all this presentation by Peter Obi, as I told you, the court they refused to accept it. Instead, what the court did, that's the panel, the Presidential Election Petition Court, what they did was that instead of agreeing with Peter Obi, they agreed with the legal team of the Independent National Electoral Commission and Tinubu's legal team, that what they presented, the result they announced, what was announced on March 1st was the right thing, which informed their decision to dismiss Peter Obi's entire petition. And according to the Presidential Election Petition Court, they said that the expert witness from the Labour Party failed to satisfy or specify the polling units in dispute, as well as provide the copies of polling unit results given to Labour Party agents as required by law. So what they are claiming was that this witness of Peter Obi, result that he downloaded from INEC Arif. INEC Arif, result that was uploaded by INEC itself, cannot be used to question the outcome of the election. That Peter Obi should go and look for the individual polling unit results from Labour Party agents. That is what is admissible. That is a matter that Peter Obi want to ask Supreme Court to look into this matter. And it is also important that this same court, Presidential Election Petition Court, that did this thing to Peter Obi, was the one claiming that he didn't show how he won the election. Whereas Peter Obi showed how he won the election. Peter Obi showed, if you go and read Peter Obi's final written address submitted to the Presidential Election Petition Court, Peter Obi showed in facts and figures how he won Rivers State. He showed facts and figures how he won Benue State. But what did the Presidential Election Petition did? What did they do? What they did was to dismiss the petition, the witnesses in Benue, dismiss the witnesses in Rivers State, and claim that they were incompetent to be witness in the matter. And then claim that the Peter Obi could not show. When Peter Obi showed you, even in his final written address, he wrote it there, how he won Rivers, how he won Benue State, and it was given to Tinubu. So these are some of the things that Peter Obi is seeking redress at the Supreme Court. Now, in the presentation that Peter Obi made to the Supreme Court, he also drawing the Supreme Court attention to what the panel said. Because the panel said that the IRIF portal was merely for public viewing and not a collection system. So you cannot use the result that INEC itself, their staff uploaded to the IRIF. You cannot use it to assess the outcome of the election. Whereas all of us know that INEC told us that the reason why the result will be transmitted live was to ensure transparency. What do you mean by transparency? If the results shown there is only merely ceremonial, you can't rely on it. What is the essence of having it at the IRIF if you cannot use it to calculate the outcome of the election? Perhaps that was why the INEC deliberately, as I talk to you now, they have not released all the results. They have not uploaded it to the IRIF several months after the election. So Peter Obi is drawing the attention of the Supreme Court to this absurdity. Because I call it absurdity because, as I told you, I have shared in this channel the video where the president of the Senate, of the Ninth Senate, Ahmad Lawan, was able to bring clarity on the role of the beavers, of the beavers and the IRIF, what is supposed to do. That beaver IRIF, what is on the IRIF is what you use to if there is any dispute between figures by political parties, when they go to IRIF, whatever they found in the IRIF is the authentic figure. That was the essence of having it. So if it is not used as a collection point, if the results on IRIF cannot be used to question the outcome of an election, what is the essence? Why did federal government invest over 300 billion setting up something like that? It means it was a total farce to have something like that. It means the INEC con Nigerians. They are no different from the 419ers. They are no different from hush puppy. And all these boys that obtain by deceit, by pretense. If you invest such a huge amount of money to set up IRIF and you are now telling people that it is not a collection point, it is not a collection system, so you can't use it to show proof that you were cheated. You can't use it to show proof that tabulation was wrong. So why set it up as a viewing center? So you just set it that amount of money as a viewing center. What is the essence of a viewing center that cannot be called to account or used as evidence when something goes wrong? So it's good that Peter Obi, and his lawyers have drawn the attention of the Supreme Court to this miscarriage of justice by the Presidential Election Petition Court. Now, as I said, let us continue to look at the P2B's petition to the Supreme Court. As I said, P2B and his lawyers, they were not satisfied with this. That is why they are in the Supreme Court right now, and they have drawn the attention of the Supreme Court to this miscarriage of justice. And to make this, to bring clarity to it, P2B, through his legal team that is headed by Liv Yuzu, senior advocate of Nigeria, they have filed 51 grounds of appeal before the Apex Courts. Okay? Now, among other contentions, they said that the panel refused to rely on the evidence of the 18,088 blood polling unit results uploaded by INEC staff to each public viewing portal, which is what we have been talking about. They are reminding the Supreme Court to take note of the fact that Presidential Election Petition Court, it was a deliberate act on their part. I don't think that they don't know what they are doing. It was deliberate that they ignored it because that is where the evidence, that is through this process that Peter Obi began to show how he won the election. And they claimed that Peter Obi could not prove how he won the election. Even INEC itself, has he been able to prove how it won the election? Because if you read the report by the European Union Election Monitoring Observation Mission, they said that they could not understand how INEC arrived to the figure with which they declared Tinubu the winner of the election. So what are we talking about? Go and read the report of the European Union on the election. And of course, that was why the government itself was against that report and tried to discredit it and began to compare it with some John Dee's reports, which was generated from the Nigerian Bar Association. Of course, you know where they are coming from. So it's interesting, and in order that Peter Obi draw the attention of the Supreme Court to this miscarriage of justice, because that disregard of that 18,088 blood results from the polling units was the game changer they used in shortchanging Peter Obi and in dismissing his petition. Now, Peter Obi said that that dismissal of the blood results form part of the certified true copies issued to them by the electoral umpire, adding that the Presidential Election Petition Court judgment affirming Tinubu's election should be nullified for non-compliance to the Electoral Act and corrupt practices. Now, the blood results, remember that when Peter Obi was looking for the certified true copy of the election results. INEC packed some results and gave to Peter Obi. But among the results packed included this 18,088 blood results was given to him as certified true copy of the result of the election. So if that constitutes part of the certified true copy of the results, why is the court, Presidential Election Petition Court, dismissing that figure as irrelevant because they dismiss the witness? So what Peter Obi is looking for now from the Supreme Court is for the Supreme Court to restore the evidence that was provided by the star witness of Peter Obi, the professor of mathematics, who was able to show how Peter Obi was just changed by the dismissal of that fact that 18,088 blood result was used against Peter Obi through the allocation of results from it to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, in essence, what Peter Obi has done is to show the doubting Thomases who have been arguing that he didn't win the election, that how could somebody who came third claim he won the election? Peter Obi had been able to show it, and it didn't start from what Peter Obi has presented now to the Supreme Court. If you go and take your time and read the final written report, final written address of Peter Obi to the Presidential Election Petition Court, Peter Obi showed in facts and figures how he won Benue, how he won Rivers State, and was able to show in the summary that having won more states, having won more votes than the other candidates, that he should be declared the winner of the election. Now he has taken the matter to the Supreme Court. The onus is now on the Supreme Court to look at the matter and give him justice. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.